All
So
good.
brilliant. Yeah, I just started recording, Seb. So
Okay.
thank you very much for joining me, Seb. And today we're going to talk about SonStream, your new music platform. It would be great just to know, how you had the idea and where you come from in terms of music.
Well, it's a long story. I'll try and keep it short. I had a record. Well, I had a band.
Yeah.
I had a band, and then I set up a record label to put out my own stuff. I mean, this is way back in 2004, I think. And we started putting out other bands, and we were doing quite well. We were getting stuff on the radio, and we were getting in the indie charts every now and again. So we were getting somewhere, and it just about worked financially. I have to say there was a really healthy gig circuit at the time, and my band in particular was quite that was part of our thing. We did a lot of live shows and a lot of festivals. And
we're all missing that now, aren't we?
It's all gone. Yeah, exactly. And but you know what is? I mean, I don't want to digress, but the gig circuit was beginning to die anyway. I mean, COVID's just rushed it, sped everything up, and actually in many ways for the streaming industry as well. But anyway, so I set up the label. Everything was going quite well, and the bottom line is this: is when we sold 3,000 singles or 4,000 albums, so particularly if it was an album, it was like 12 quid in HMV or wherever we selling it, and singles were about £3. It's not hard to do the maths. It's not a great deal of money, but it's certainly enough just about to keep things going.
Yeah.
And to justify trying to develop your career. And I suppose it was around about 2000 and maybe even 2006. And it really occurred to me, I had a background before I went into music. I'm digressing all over the place. Before I went into music, I was in TV. And when YouTube came out and, live streaming videos, to me, it seemed very obvious that it was only a matter of time until all media would get streamed in the same way.
Yeah, no, that's true. And I'm insisting a lot on the video side of things, because I come from the TV and film industries too. So, yeah.
Absolutely, yes, we spoke about that. Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, ironically, you can see all the same things which have happened to music and have crippled the music industry. You can see the same things beginning to evolve in all media, including TV and film. And I mean, likewise with TV and film and newspapers and all the rest of it, there's a lot of spin, there's a lot of mistruth, fake news, whatever you want to call it. There's lots of people banging on, oh, we can do this, we can do that, it's going to be really positive and all the rest of it. I mean, we've heard it all, and it never really works out. That's the bottom line.
You wanted to do your own thing.
Well, yeah. I mean, with SonStream, basically, I came up with the idea more or less around about that time. So we're talking about 2006, 2007. And I suppose, if I'm honest, I just thought somebody else would do it. I really did. And nobody did. And then we started to think, well, we'll do it. And I started to raise the cash. And I have to say, I mean, it's a very long, sorry story, I have to say. So, I mean, we started raising the cash around about 2010. Say it again, Sam.
Let's get to the positive, to the final bit, because I mean, it's proving really popular now. So
yeah, it took a long time to get off the ground. It's not easy setting these things up. I'm not a developer. I'm not a technical person. I wasn't particularly well connected in the music industry at the business level. So it was a long journey, and all the things which could have gone wrong went wrong. Business partners come and go. People get ill. People turn out to be unreliable or not very good. Developers can be a nightmare.
I know, it's all part of the experience, though.
But we got there, and we got there this year. So that's it, really. I mean, like that's the bottom line. You know, I came up with the idea. It seemed very. I think the key thing, which I'd say, Sam, is what occurred to me was that the whole business model elsewhere, so Spotify, YouTube, whatever it was, had completely, it not just devalued music, it stripped it of value completely and utterly. So by presenting the concept that somebody can have all the world's music for a tenner, is insulting to anybody who creates music. There's a lot of smoke and mirrors with music, because obviously people want to, when you make a great record, you want it to sound like the record's just happened. Yeah. So it's a moment of magic.
Yes.
But no record just happens. No. All records take an incredible amount of work.
Absolutely.
And talent, you know, hopefully, not always, but an incredible amount of work, even if it's just all the people who were making the record, all the years they've been perfecting their roles, be it from an engineer to a producer to a bass player, doesn't matter. It's a lot of work.
No, absolutely. I mean, like any sort of production, I completely agree. So, I mean, getting them back to SonStream, you know, we were talking a few days ago about, you know, fairness, because then it's going to be fairer towards the consumer and also towards the artist. Would you like to tell me a bit more, let's say, as a consumer, what do I get then? Do I have to put, you know, because it's the first time I'm approaching SonStream, so do I have to put a tenner a month? Do I play and consume, and so spend only on what I play? So a bit how it works, and literally what's your, you know, who plays on it, and just a bit more info. That would be great.
Yeah, well, it doesn't work in any of those ways. It doesn't work like any other platform. Now, it's, and it was a bit of a lateral thought, which kind of perfected the idea, I suppose. It's very simple. If you like, it's a leave your card at the bar model. So, or alternatively, you could see it like, instead of, it's not a chip shop. You don't go to the chips. It's not a case that you pay your money and then you get your product. You get, it's like going to a restaurant. You have your meal and you pay at the end.
Yeah, yeah.
So with SonStream, if somebody signs up, they've got, at the moment, so if somebody signs up, they've got to put their card details in, debit card, credit card. Hopefully, one day we'll have an ability for people to sign in with PayPal or with their mobile phone accounts, but essentially they sign up and they commit their payment details. But that does not mean that they pay anything. They don't pay anything, zero, unless they play something. The moment they play something, we essentially, you know, charge for that particular song or that album. And it's as simple as that, you know. So at the end of the week, if they've played one song and and that song's cost 3.3p, that's me little lad. What do you want, Louis? Is he broken? Yeah. Oh, sorry. I'll come to you in 2 seconds. Do you want me to come? Sam, you're just going to hold on 2 seconds.
Don't worry, go for it.
Sorry.
No worries at all.
Yes, where was it? Yeah, so basically, yeah, so
say anything like for the week or for the month if I'm not playing anything, right?
Exactly right, exactly right. So there's different tariffs on SonStream. So if somebody plays a song from the search engine, it costs 3.3p. If somebody plays an automatic playlist, which is called Streamer Sonic, which is where they can select a genre or several genres, and it just plays random songs of those genres. That costs 2p every time a song is played. If they play an album, doesn't matter what album it is, it's 10p, and that's for the whole album. And if they put together in in the collection area, so it's a bit like having an album collection. They can create mixtapes essentially, so they, their own album like people used to on CDs and cassettes, and they can set a playlist running. And if they set a playlist running from that area, that's only 1.5p. You know what I mean?
Okay, so you just do your own play list and everything, and then you pay what you consume. On the other hand, then how does it work? Because it sounds really straightforward and quite most probably cheap for the consumer, because you just so that's really good. So how much does the artist get? Because I mean, our focus is on indie artists, and how much they get from music that is streamed. So it would be really good to know, from an EP or just a single, how much they would get. You can even make comparisons, because I saw a couple of comparisons that you have posted, and those were really, quite of an impact, because it was really little money on the major streaming services, and it was something that, what made you do, I don't know, a couple of days shopping with you. So
yes, absolutely. Well, at the moment, I mean, things are evolving, but with the whole business model, as we're obviously talking to a lot of major labels and licensing societies and perfecting it. But at the moment, it's dead simple. After tax, so after VAT, the rights holder, so that can be a record label, or it can be the artist if the artist owns their song and they've put it up on SonStream. It gets 90%, and we take 10.
All right. So 90.
Yeah. So I think what's different about our approach is that I believe that the product is the music, and we're selling somebody else's product. So our job at SonStream is to create a really, really good shop, basically, but somewhere where you go in, and obviously there's a bit extra to it, and there's more features which we'd like to introduce, given half the chance. It's very early days for us, but fundamentally the product is the music, not us. We're the shop, we're the platform.
Okay, so I mean, that's brilliant. It sounds, really super fair considering the 90%. And in terms of the artist, then let's say that I'm a solo artist. I want to join SonStream, but I don't want to be committed like completely to you. Is it an exclusive thing, or can I be on on Spotify and on SonStream too? And what do I have to do? And when is it that I'm gonna check how much I've been played, and when I'm gonna receive my money? Just the main basic info, please.
So basically, we have a service on SonStream called G-Release, and anybody, if they own their own songs, their own recordings, can upload their music via that service.
Yeah.
And if that song, whatever they upload, gets played within a time frame of a week, they get paid on a Monday morning. So basically, So every Monday morning they get paid for whatever it gets played.
Oh, brilliant!
It's as simple as that. In terms of the exclusivity, it isn't anything we can enforce. We ask for it on principle, and I think there's an important thing to say here, which it might make me fairly unpopular, but it's got to be said. Half the battle with the whole of the music industry, and it's partly the reason it's got itself into such a mess, is because musicians tend, obviously by definition, that they're creative, artistic, romantic, you could even say, tend not to really want to get their heads around business. And what they really want is they want people to listen to their music.
Yeah.
And rightly so, I'm a musician. I'm a musician myself and a songwriter, and I want people to listen to my stuff. I want them to like it. It doesn't always happen, but that's what we all strive for. But you can't have your cake and eat it. You can't say to the marketplace, you can listen to this song over here for free, but
No,
you've got to
no,
pay me.
absolutely. Yeah.
This is not going to do it. If it was a chip shop, you could have the best chips in the world. But if somebody opens up a chip shop next to you and sells chips for free, you're not going to sell any chips.
No, no,
So
absolutely.
it's a principle. It's a principle. If people want to actually have some kind of revenue, they've got to basically not give the music away for free somewhere else. And it is effectively music on Spotify, music on YouTube, effectively is free. Now, there's a lot of spin and BS about like subscription. Oh yeah, the subscriptions, figures are, that's where Spotify lies. And well, Spotify are very, very, how can they could, and YouTube all conceal their true performance figures very well. Obfuscation is rife with everything which they do. They claim that they make more money out of subscription than they do out of ad funding music. That might be the case, but what they also admit is that ad funded music is the overwhelming amount of music which is consumed. It's just they don't make any money out. They don't make as much money out of its subscription because it makes next to no money because they're giving it away for free. YouTube accounts for more streams per year going out for ad funding for free, basically, than all the other music platforms put together by a long shot. And nobody's doing anything. It's crackers. It's crackers.
No, absolutely. And getting back to SonStream, so how would you like it to, let's say, develop in the next months? I'm pretty sure that you're approaching indie music artists and bands. So what are your plans?
Well, just before we go there, I'll just say, if you don't mind, Sam, I'll just say one thing about the YouTube, and I'll address this for SonStream and the consumers, because basically people might not believe that SonStream is cheaper for the consumer. Now, the reason why it is cheaper for the overwhelming majority of people is because fundamentally the overwhelming majority of people don't have that much time.
No,
and therefore they don't listen to as much.
Exactly, it's what you told me. In fact, I wanted to get through this because you made your calculations, and that's so interesting.
Yeah, well, absolutely. So yes, there are people who Spotify will claim that their subscribers, listen to 150 tracks per week or something along those lines. And if you are, if you're a kid, if you're a young person, if you're a commuter and you use Spotify when you 5 days a week going to and from work, that may be true. But for the overwhelming majority of people who love music, passionate about music, the chances are they've got chance to listen to a couple of albums at the weekend while they're doing the cleaning or the cooking.
For sure, yeah. Well, that's somehow my case. I'm not gonna go on 150 tunes per week, but and in general, so the main point is that whoever loves music, we love the artists somehow, and we want to contribute to their well-being as artists, and to be able to make new songs just because they're being financed by their previous songs. So
Yeah.
it's really good to know, that's the point.
Well, you know what? I think it is. That is true. But again, I think that half the problem with the approach with a lot of people who are trying to do something similar to something, they're trying to do something to readdress the balance. If you go at it with just a kind of a righteousness to, we must pay the artist, then you're slightly missing the point. You've got to see this slightly cynically, and it is this: if the vast majority of people in the world, they might think that artists and musicians want to get paid, but given half the chance and given free music, or an artist gets paid, they'll have free music. Do you mean they're not just going to go, oh yeah, well I'll pay instead of having something for free? They will just have it for free. So essentially, what you've got to do is come up with a platform which actually makes it a reasonable request to say this it's better if you pay. So if you compare SonStream to YouTube, so what I'd say is the vast majority of people, that's why YouTube delivers more streams than anybody, because the vast majority of people only know they're only going to get a chance to listen to a couple of albums on a Saturday.
Yeah.
So why would they pay £10 up front for subscription? They can just go to YouTube, type in the name of the album, and there it is, voila. Now, the problem with YouTube is that it's actually quite hard to use because there's lots of different versions of all the classic songs on there. So you have to kind of wade through trying to find a version which has got good sound and it's not for kids in Panama playing it on ukuleles, you know, and then you've got the adverts kicking in more and more and more and more and becoming more intrusive on YouTube all the time. And so what we've presented with SonStream is to those people who've only got a chance to listen to a couple of albums on a Saturday afternoon, is they go to SonStream, they type in, they search for the album, they click play, that album costs them 10p. That's it. So the weekend is going to cost them 20p. So it's 20p instead of all the mithing on YouTube.
Yeah, and the £10 wasted for the month. No, absolutely, I completely agree. But back again, getting to my point, I do consider it a win-win, you know, because it's as I said from the beginning, it's fair on both sides. It is for the consumer, but it is also for the artist. So this is really why it is so good. So yeah, let's go back to the plans that you have for SonStream.
Yeah, 2 seconds, sorry.
No worries.
Yeah, phone's going like the clappers. Yes, sorry, yeah, go on.
So I was saying the plans for SonStream then for the future. You said you wanted to implement it with some other things. Are you going to put on videos and just a bit, you know, what your ideas are?
Well, yes, I must say, I must apologise to anybody who watches this and they've gone to SonStream and they found lots of unusual bugs with the platform. We are addressing all the bugs as on a daily basis. In fact, I've got a meeting straight away after this one with the developers. So we are getting there. It just takes time and money, and we are getting both of those coming into the company now. So what would we like to do? Well, the most important thing for me, if I had a gripe about the internet and apps and all those kind of things, is they always end up being too complicated.
Yeah.
Too much going on, basically. Too many services being offered. So you have to be really careful just to keep it nice and clean and simple, so people can use your platform without it being hard work. We all hate websites which are hard work, and there's lots of them. So we're going to, like I say, be very measured about how we do things. But fundamentally, as you might be able to tell, I am absolutely passionate about music, and I'm not saying that as like, bloody Lucian Grange at Universal will say, oh yeah, I'm passionate about music. I'll tell you what he's passionate about. He's passionate about his bloody millions coming into his bank account and his shareholders. That's what he's passionate about. He wouldn't know. He wouldn't know live at the Regal by BB King, which slapped him in the face. That's I'd challenge him on it. So because I'm passionate about music, what I want is a platform which actually kind of panders to that passion. So what I'd like SonStream to become is somewhere where you search for a song, you click on on the artwork or just on a simple button, and it tells you who recorded it first, what year it was recorded, where it was recorded, who were the people who were playing on it, who were the songwriters, how it was recorded even. So information about it. If there was an option for us to show the video, yeah, great. Personally, I'm not going to show videos unless, and it gets a bit interesting here, unless there is a charge to it. Now, how we do that, I don't know. But it's a weird one because videos were created originally to be promotional.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, the music isn't promotional, the music's the product. And now, in many ways, the video is the product. So if you like, yes, I want to do it, but we've got to really make sure that we do it in the right way.
Exactly, and the same thing I think for merchandise too. So that is part of a way back again, in my opinion, of sustaining the artists and getting the word around more than yeah, being a means to have other platforms to make more money from them. So yeah, 100%.
That's right. But you know what, Matt, is, I mean, I think this is where, like a lot of our competition, a lot of the other platforms aim to create some kind of, pardon me, aim to create some kind of alternative world, some, self-contained ecosystem of music, some kind of experience. And I think that's where there's a lot of mythology and misconception and ill-conceived ideas about the internet, that it should be this virtual world where you live, an alternative existence. I don't particularly like the sound of that myself. I think it sounds like a dystopian nightmare to me. But also, it's just a load of bollocks. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to live in a virtual world. If I want to listen to a track, I just want to listen to the bloody track.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I'm quite happy for things to be suggested to me, but I don't want that. I don't want to be shepherded by a platform and my data to be used to predict what I'm doing. And I just want to say, SonStream, for as long as I'm in charge, which may be forever, or we might go bust next week, I don't know. But for as long as I'm in charge, we will never, ever sell personal data on for marketing, adverts. We won't try to use it to predict what somebody wants to do, nothing. So we respect, so if you like, the goal is to not just respect the musician, it's to respect the consumer as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, that makes completely sense. Oh, that's brilliant, Seb. Seb, I mean, we've used our 30 minutes for our bite-sized interview. That's great. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining me. And I suppose artists and whoever can just, I'll tweet the link to your website and they can get in touch there, I suppose.
Absolutely. I will say this is to anybody out there, we are growing as a business, but at the moment we are incredibly short-staffed. And so if people find bugs, like I say, we are fixing them. And if people send messages and they don't hear from us for a couple of days, that's because there's just not enough of us. Hopefully soon we'll be employing more people and we'll address that. But yeah, we're still operating in the Sons Records. That's the label I set up is called Sons Records, and it's a Backstreet label in the city centre of Stoke, and it's got a leaking roof, and I mean a leaking roof. So yeah, we're on a shoestring, but we are getting there.
Absolutely, that's brilliant. Seb, thank you so much, and speak soon. We'll stay in touch.
Brilliant. Thanks very much, Sam.
Thank you. Take care. Bye.